Welcome to the Jackie Scully Show. This is not your ordinary podcast. This is a space for heart-centered conversations, bold ideas, and transformative visions. I sit down with thought leaders and visionaries who are making waves in the world of heart, education, and consciousness. Together, we explore how we want to live, co-create, and thrive in 2025 and beyond. Every Friday, join me for inspirational and thought-provoking stories of everyday people creating extraordinary impact. These individuals are sparking waves of positive change, embodying the kind of impact we all aspire to create. This season, 3 powerful themes emerge: the heart of wholeness, exploring inner love, emotional balance, and our deep connection with awe; the future of education, rethinking learning through personalized pathways, collaborative growth, and community-driven transformation; and a new era of consciousness, expanding possibilities and how we live and thrive together. Come sit with me. Let's dream, build, and embody the world we wish to see. This is the Jackie Scully Show. Enjoy. Hello, welcome to the Jackie Scully Show. We have Joel Felsenstein with us. He has been on my previous podcast, The Teacher Story, 2 times, and we're good friends and love to be able to just chat and share about our visions for the future and what we are creating and building. Joel is someone who is an advocate, spread that message of having more, not just acceptance and awareness, but really opportunity, right? And having everyone from all different backgrounds should have the opportunities to work, to create, to be, collaborative together and not just seeing people as other. And he also has an incredible story. So I would love for Joel to share a little bit about his background and maybe something unique and interesting about his, story and, what you're building with RockstarX. So thank you, Joel, for being on the show today.
I'm glad to be here. It's been, 2 years?
Yeah, a little over 2 years. Yeah. So what would you like to share first? Just a little bit about you and your background, maybe something kind of unique about your story, and then we'll get into the work you're doing and your vision that you have.
And when you say unique about my story, my entire existence is unique, and it'd probably be longer than 40 minutes. But
Yes, and you're currently writing a book about your story.
yes, I am. Never written one before. The last time I wrote a book was in elementary school, which so I did. I said, yeah.
I think it's going to be fabulous. Well, if there's anything you want to just share about yourself and your background that lead into the work that you're doing today.
My background is long-winded, but the shortened version as to why that's why I do what I do today is what stems from my own personal experiences um, from going from education into the corporate world, and what a different sort of animal that is. And my life, I was diagnosed autistic officially at the age of 9. I say officially. And I hate the word diagnosis, but there we go.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like a bloody computer. Your computer viruses. Let's diagnose the problem there. But and before that, I had a very extended period of hospital stay, shall we say, which is a story in and of itself. So you can't fit that into 40 minutes, especially when I mentioned that I was briefly held by the late Princess of Wales. Um,
That's so interesting. And I know that's going to be a part of your book as well.
Still got the picture to prove it, so I'm not just saying that. I have got the picture.
Wow.
It'll be a bit exposed. Um, the camera, not me. So my journey really started when I was diagnosed at the age of 9, and I was diagnosed with autism, and I was going from school to school. The educational system, as you know, has never. I can't really say broken, because for it to be broken, it kind of needs to work in the first place.
That's a great point. And that truly did not really
Mhm.
ever work, right? Especially for people with different backgrounds. It's a one size fits all system. And that's kind of how it was built. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that well, it didn't really work out either then, but well, obviously they changed the system from the cane to what we have now, and it still doesn't work. So obviously,
Yeah, not much has changed at all.
not.
And then you struggled, right, in the corporate world and feeling like, can my talents and gifts and how people see me be used there? And often, I think both in school and the workplace, people that might have a diagnosis, I know I hate the labeling too, they're not still seen as like, oh, you have these gifts that you have. You have beautiful music talent. You're a wonderful advocate, speaker, creator. You create so much media. But when you're just doing this job in a corporate world or whatever, they always are looking at maybe what you can't do, right? Or they're putting you in a box and you just feel that you're not shining the way that you want to. So that's something that didn't work for you. And then you decided, I'm going to do things my own way. And you created RockstarX. And I think that's so brave and courageous for you to say, I'm going to do something where I'm going to create my own company. I'm going to be able to hire my own people and we're going to do something really special. So can you share about RockstarX and your work you've been doing and your vision for what you're trying to build and create?
Yes, Jackie, I can. But as you know, and several people know, if you want something doing, do it yourself. Um,
Yeah, so
and
you've been teaching me that too.
if it fails, you tried, and then it's not a fail if you do it. It's fail is I learned this not pretty recently, but sort of in college when fail is that I learned that fail was an acronym for first attempt in learning. I then thought, okay, so does that mean that if you fail again, it then becomes fail? Um,
I think really failure is when you don't give yourself a chance
yeah.
to be who you really want to be, and you take that leap of faith over and over again, Joel. And I think you're a bright light that shines. Like people on LinkedIn are drawn to you and in your other communities because you are completely yourself. You're super authentic. You make a ton of content and you draw people in because you're doing something really different and you're saying, this is just the way it's going to be.
And and then I went from college to my job, which I was working with my cousin. The only thing that I got out of that, besides a free trip to the States, because of the company annual meeting turned out to be my only meeting.
Mm.
Um, the only thing I got from that visit, besides the fact that I know where I want to be, he had something on his wall in his office in both the US and the States. Like it was more, uh, it was more hidden away over here, but it wasn't hidden away there. It was right in plain view in the front desk. Michael Jordan's quote, the only, which I believe was, "You miss 100% of the shots you do not take."
It's a great quote. I love that quote. It's true. Absolutely. Like what we're talking about. I think it's a failure when you don't take that shot.
Yes,
Yeah. And that was it. Is that when that was the turning point of like, I think I need to be
that
doing
was the
something
beginning of
from,
the end for
hmm,
me and my cousin's relationship, both
yeah.
professional, otherwise.
And how did you then just say, I'm going to build this company, this Rockstar X, and I'm going to bring people together from all different backgrounds, and we're going to do this through connection, through music, collaboration. I mean, your whole vision is collaboration. I love it.
The number one thing I said before I actually dug deeper and figured out more of the why, not the jokey why, which is well, you can't fire yourself.
That's a perk.
um, but then I wanted to because what I went through, which was not nice, and I went away, and then I got a text while I was on holiday saying, when you get back, I want to see you in my office.
Mm.
You just ruined the entire holiday for me. Brilliant.
Mm.
And I want to make other people to find their enjoyment, so they don't go through the same. If you're being called into the office, I've never actually been done at all, though, but I know how to Indian line to be done. But if you're calling the office by a text message while you're out of the office or on holiday, it's bad enough. But while you're on holiday, I imagine it's like being text dumped.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really, really crappy way to know that you're fired. Like, where is the integrity in that at all? To send it a text message while you're on holiday, enjoying yourself, and you're like, great. Now I know I have nothing to go back to. Where's my income? And how am I going to enjoy the rest of my vacation?
Well, it wasn't, and it wasn't quite cut off like that, because the way that sad really, the way that some companies, I'm not saying most, not pointing to most, I mean, a fair majority of them, certainly this one, um, worked was gradually reducing my hours so they do not have to pay me a severance package.
So it's all this like plan that you
Yeah.
were going to be fired, moved out, but they were doing
Yeah.
it in a way that they could save money.
And
That's
before that,
so crappy.
they said, yeah, you'll be going to America at some point and then working for the US office. Yeah, well,
Mhm.
oh, by the way, we found someone who can do your job in the US office. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
yeah, and you already found someone.
Yeah, and I want to sit on this and again get us moving into what you're creating and building because the whole premise of this podcast and why I rebranded it is to look at the time we're in and we're really moving away from old systems
Yeah,
that don't work, that haven't worked, that have treated people with
like that.
very, very little integrity, yeah, like crap, and not have a sense of humanity, not have a sense of that love and care for others. And I think we're moving into this new time where there's more people like yourself, and I'm inviting people on this podcast as leaders, as
Mm.
visionaries to say, that doesn't work. We're going to have that kind of just fall away. And I'm going to be one of the people to create something new. And
Yeah,
so
that doesn't
we're
work.
in a great moment for you to show and showcase what you're creating. And that is going to, I think,
That,
going to be the new world.
that doesn't work. That method has never worked. More to the point, it's degrading, and I'd much rather than say thank you very much. You're done anyway. Look, you get
Yeah.
a come back. But the way I operate things is slightly different. Most recruiters will have a role, try and find a person who's got a piece of A4 paper. So they can do what you're looking for. Where I find the person
Mm.
and then I build the role around
Mm.
the person.
You want to see their magic.
Yes, if I wanted to fit a person around the role, I would just buy a Master Robot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just buy a robot.
And really anymore, AI is going to be doing those things, right? So a lot of things could be automated, but you are looking at people as people and have their
Yeah,
individual gifts. And then you're like, you have this light and this gift about you. You have something really special. And I think that's going to have a place in RockstarX and in what I'm building. Let me create that. How different. You're flipping the
yeah.
script. I love that. And so finding the people, you're really great at building network. You have a huge network and then creating those roles. Do you want to give like an example of either right now how you've done that with someone that you're working with or your vision for those types of ways you want to build out RockstarX?
That was actually very early on. So at the beginning, when I got introduced to Mac, who's a LinkedIn strategist, he hates the word expert and he hates the word guru. So LinkedIn strategist, and he said to me on the way down to see a very nice property, which is now gone back on the market, having had the sale agreed and then it fell through. So obviously there's something wrong with the place, so I'm not going to do that anymore. He said, I can do operations, but I would be best suited, I think, to vision rather than vision. And I said, okay, you can be that. I don't want to put you in a place you hate or operate, because operations, you need a team anyway. If you haven't got that, there's nothing to operate.
Yeah. So you also are listening to the person that you want to bring on board, and they're saying, this is what I want to do. This is what I can do. And Mac's been like your partner through all of this.
There is no I, as far as I'm aware, in people.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And it's about teamwork. And so I love that you took something of a really life struggle of how people treated you. And then you use that as inspiration to say, I'm going to stop that cycle and I want to create a new way of bringing people together and showing how much they can give to a company, to an organization, to a mission. And I think everyone believes in your mission, because RockstarX is about bringing, people from all different backgrounds, really embracing neurodivergency, but also embracing the sense of like, you can have labels of neurodivergent, neurotypical, all this. We're just people, and we're people who operate differently. When we were on my last podcast, we talked about like an operating system, like a computer. It's just we think differently, we operate differently, but we're all bringing something to the table. And so what's your vision moving forward? Because you've been building out RockstarX for 2 years now, a little over 2 years.
So my vision is to create a truly global, peaceful, not only work environment, but one which brings in an element which you I don't think has ever fully entered the workplace or any educational place, and and I want to bring in the fun element to not back because I haven't ever been there to the workplace, and also I'm a big fan of being away from the office. Four walls, so you go to an office, you go to a building. What is that building? That's the structure. That's inside. 7 8 hour days. You come home to a house. That's also inside.
Yeah.
Where is the room to create or anything if you're going from inside to another inside?
So creating a workplace where there's a lot of flow and flexibility, and you can work from like, you have a structure. I know that it's important to you too, to also have a place where people can gather, but then you can work online individually or gather online, or creative spaces. So you're really creating a whole new work environment that's more than just a hybrid role, right? I think we're moving kind of into that space. I know you've talked about VR as well, and as that develops more, being able to use more of a virtual space to make it real fun and creative too.
Also crossing paths with the normal traditional video game element. When your customers are outside or clients outside, blowing everyone up or whatever they do. All those empty buildings that are currently sitting on games just for decoration, and you can install on missions, you can then have rented out to actual businesses that you can actually work in yourself. And I don't know about you, but I think that's a slightly better that kills multiple things with one blow. Because number one, you're making work environment enjoyable. Two, you're promoting creativity. Three, you're having not limiting yourself to just your country. And four, you cut the visa costs and the embassies make redundant.
Yeah, exactly. And you bring great people together from all
It's the
over.
same
You don't have the
environment
boundaries.
in the
Yeah.
environment. They
Yeah.
all play, they all flying.
Yeah. So what I have understood of where you started with Rockstar X was really bringing people of different backgrounds together to focus on connecting through music. Is that still a big part of it, or is this really
Yeah,
fully you're thinking about
part.
just creating new work environments?
It's a big part of it, but the creative sectors are so massive. You can't just go to one because all people like us are in all. You can't really just say right. Uh, um, we're going to focus on the music. Yes, there are some in there, not in there. But then you've got, hang on a minute, there's more, there's some in tech, and then there's some in the education,
Mm.
and then there's some in pretty much anything that is requires specialist training.
Yeah, so you're bringing people from different industries
Yeah,
together. So it's really expanding from where you first had
yeah,
this vision of just bringing, I think your first part of the vision was just bringing people together and just doing it through something that everyone enjoys, which is music and creating music. And you are a musician and you're a music educator. So
yeah.
it stems from your passion and your skill set. And that's what you know you can bring to that. But I know you've been trying to tap me for a while to join and bring on that education kind of expertise and experience into it, which I am still very much interested in.
Time comes, it's going to be slightly less volatile and slightly less risky to do that than it is to invest in the market. Um,
Yeah.
the other thing we want to do now, I've noticed, particularly with some of my close relatives, that there are also non-verbals.
Mm,
Now,
yeah.
Elon has gone in sort of the the right direction with Neuralink.
Hmm. Hmm.
He's put his very bright and intelligent mind to the task and come up with a solution, but has failed to realize if you have a computer chip implanted in your brain, like every single piece of hardware,
Hmm.
that could be hacked.
Mm,
So
yeah.
basically, someone could say, right, I'm going to hack this one now, and then you're going to die.
Yeah, I
uh,
don't like the idea of putting a computer
so
chip or a chip in your brain. I don't
I,
care what it could do for you.
I I looked at that. I thought, okay, that's one way of that's one way of doing it. There was a safe way of doing it, and that is still using that idea, but take that chip and put it into Bluetooth headphones.
Mm.
Use Bluetooth airwaves or Wi-Fi connection to effectively be a more modern version of Stephen Hawking's computer.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Individuals who have like ALS and they become nonverbal and they can use like their eyes to look at the computer screen to then type and make
Or they
words.
can use their thoughts to trans and then
Oh,
the
yeah.
work into
Yeah. That would be amazing technology.
and
So is that
between
something you're interested in getting involved into?
yeah,
Very cool. I love that. Yeah. I think there's potential there for sure.
the
And
potential
would
for
that be part of like your business as well?
yes, yes, it will be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I would like to know for moving forward, I know you're trying to get over to the States too, and you actually have a plan to come in March.
Yeah.
What is the long-term goal and vision for what you're building out? Are you planning to also create physical, actual spaces like in
Yeah.
the United States or other areas, other countries of the world?
But so the US, yes, we're going to create something and affect and on the music side of things, um, we're going to attempt. We're not going to attempt. We're going to do the neurodiverse and special needs education friendly rival to School of Rock.
Mhm. Very cool. So creating something that is going to be more
That's
inclusive,
yeah.
right? Oh, I
Very well
love that.
overdone and not very inclusive to everybody.
Very, very cool. So where are you in your planning stages now for those like next steps?
At the funding stages, but obviously no one over here or no one over there will be investing in anything over here until after the October budget,
Yeah,
which
that's always the hardest part is the funding.
which is actually tomorrow. But we need just funding to do a. It's a roundabout. You can't get off really. So you need to build a prototype. You need money, and to get money, you need a prototype.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really having maybe some angel investors, having people that just believe in what you're doing and your message and
Yeah.
have the capital, and they're like, we're just going to throw a bunch of money at you. So another reason why I wanted to bring you on to the show is just you never know who's listening. You never know
Silicon
who's like,
Valley
I
probably
want to
be
be able to jump in on what Joel's doing because I think it's really innovative. It's very heart-centered. You're coming from a place of you care about people and you want to do some really great work in the world. And yeah, it does take capital, it takes money. And so sometimes we need to just also find those people as well. I understand that.
and you've done a lot as well for both education and humanity in general.
Well, thank you. And before we leave here, any final thoughts, words, messages you would like to share with whoever's listening? Something that is about what you are really, not just about what you're trying to build, but your message to the world about what you want to see in the world right now. How do you want to see people living and thriving?
If you have something that you're passionate about, get off your ass and do it. Otherwise, you'll be later on in life. You'll be thinking, oh, I wish I'd done that earlier. Because yeah, you'll never know what could have been.
Yeah. And how you could have affected other people's lives, right? You're leaving a legacy, you're leaving your mark, even if it's really hard and people are looking at you going, I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing? Why can't you just have just a regular day
Sometimes I
job,
look at myself
right?
and sometimes I look at myself and think, what the hell am I doing?
But at the end of the day, you can say, I'm trying to do something different, and I think we all in some way want to have, whether it's big or small, have some kind of legacy, right? We want to leave our mark on the world and say we even helped one other person live a better life. And I know
Yeah.
that you're going to help a lot of people in the workplace and really bring people together and give more of that integrity back to the workplace and to people and have them feel like respected. And I think that's an awesome thing. And I know the funding is going to come. It's going to come. I'm going to keep praying for it. And I hope that all of those dreams that you have come true and cannot wait to see you also here in the United States. Have not met you in person yet, so I can't wait for that. And it's just so exciting to always have you on and have these conversations because you're a very inspirational person and you have a huge heart and a huge vision. And that is what the Jackie Scully Show is all about. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And we will be plugging all your information into the show notes. And, if you know any angel investors out there, anyone who's got, some really good capital, big heart, and believes in this message, and you'll have a lot more information that I'll plug in the show notes as well. Just reach out to Joel. He's big on LinkedIn. He's all over his YouTube, and he creates amazing content, and it's just such a inspiration. So definitely connect with Joel. Thank you so much for coming on the show.